Hi, I'm Nikki, and I have huge news coming from BHVR in terms of Meet Your Maker. So a new patch came out May 9th, 2023, and the patch is pretty much everything people have been asking for. The community, a lot of them were bug fixes or kind of exploits that people are taking advantage of. And the other and far more important one is the rank system. So I want to get into it really fast, mention kind of the biggest ones. I'll make sure I link it at the bottom so you can check out all of the notes if you want to. So, the big one is that traps will no longer detect raiders through corrosive cubes equipped with the second wave mod. So this was a big one, mainly in kill box ones or mazes where they would have the corrosive cube that raiders couldn't see through, but traps like the bolt shot, the grappling hook, all that could see the raider and pull them through or shoot them through it. The corrosive cube mod was specifically made so that it couldn't be detected on either side, but it was an exploit that a lot of people took advantage of and was rather quite annoying. The next one is the harvester can no longer be killed at the spawn point by a death piston. So this one was exploited a ton of times. Mainly people would build massive labyrinths with different winding hallways and forks in the roads, and you would get lost if you didn't follow Harvey through the map. And it was annoying spending about 30-40 minutes looking for the gen mat and then eventually giving up and abandoning the raid, because not only would you lose rank for abandoning it, it's just not a fun experience. You could spend that time, raiding a whole bunch of other ones. So they fixed the mod so that the piston traps will no longer kill him, and also he couldn't be killed by the piston when returning to the shipping station after depositing the gen mat. So good fix there. There was also a weird glitch where the plasma clouds from the plasma sentinel couldn't be seen in co-op, but that's been resolved as well. Okay, and next big one is the accolade screen. So when the game first came out, you would push X on the accolades you want to give. You had to hit square, it was, and most people, when they got to the accolade screen, they would just hit X to try and select it, and they'd end up skipping giving the accolades. It was changed last patch where they made it so you had to click the square, but you had to hold X in order to continue. Well, it was changed again to where now you have to use one of the directional options or certain key bindings if you're playing on PC. Probably one of the biggest ones that people are going to like is balancing on the ranking system. So how it was originally set up, it really encouraged kind of a toxic playstyle, right? So whenever you had a certain amount of deaths, and it was dependent on what your rank was, gold and silver, you could die a lot more times, but once you hit, high level gold, if you died even twice, you would either hit 0 or you would be negative 30, if not more points. So it encouraged people who would die more than once to just close out the game completely. This way it would abandon the raid, get you out of it without actually having you abandon it officially and losing points to it. Now, this would also cause an issue with the owner of the outpost because they wouldn't receive any of the materials or experience from the deaths of that raider, and it wouldn't count toward their prestige, and they'd have to end up just refilling it and wasting materials on that. Both of those things were fixed. The first one is that it's no longer possible to receive less than 0 ranking points as a raider or builder after successfully completing a raid or being raided. So once you've died like 20 times on a brutal map and you finally stick through with it, being stubborn as hell, you're not going to be negative 30 and end up wasting all your time. It was a huge problem for kill boxes and labyrinths, and it would cause a lot of the owners of those ones to, miss out on some of that experience and prestige in the outpost. Like I said previously, it encouraged players to maybe try it once or twice, and if they failed, then just close out the game completely with Alt F4, or on PlayStation, just close out of it through the home screen, and then just go back into it and play with a different one or abandon it completely. So not only did they make it so the raider wouldn't lose any points, but they also made it so if you did Alt F4 out of the game, the materials and the experience from the deaths would still be added to the total of the owner of the outpost, which is great news. This will also help encourage people who, like myself, are stubborn and like playing the more harder maps to continue going through it until they're able to actually beat it, because now you're not going to be punished and potentially lose ranking. The ranking isn't technically all that important. If it's to be believed, you're going to get some cosmetics at the end of the season this June once it's been done, but with losing points, if you died too much, there was really no point to ever try the harder raids, because you could just grind 3 or 4 dangerous maps in the amount of points it would have taken you to do a single brutal one. If you go on to the Meet Your Maker subreddit, the ones that I mentioned previously were kind of the major complaints that a lot of the player base had, and it looks like BHVR addressed it and updated all of them in one swift move. There's a lot more to the patch updates. Like I said, I'll have it linked in the description so you can check it out. I think it's a great move it shows that they're actually listening to their community, and they're adjusting the game in the way that players actually want to keep their player base as well as expand it. So hopefully we got some other cool things coming on the pipeline, maybe some more blocks and everything. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment on here, like, subscribe, do whatever you want. Till then, have a good day. Bye.